time in Brazil?
Second time in Brazil, and it's great to be here. It's a beautiful country.
Well,
and
thank you very much.
I'd like to start off and offer you this gift from my fellow firefighters up there in the Bronx in New York City.
Thank you.
This is a very special memorial hat, Fire Department, New York. And on the back it says, September 11th, we'll never forget it.
Well,
From us
you
to
very
you,
much.
wear it in
Thank you.
pride.
Thank you very, very much. Okay.
It matches your suit as well.
Yeah. You think I'll do a nice firefighter?
Good. Well, you come
It's
up
a lot of body to burn.
That's right. Well, we could work some of that off. Come up to our training camp.
Well, then, you know, one of my dreams is to try to buy, when I go to New York, one of those fireman hats. You know, the large one, the one with the back that goes to protect.
Is that right? Well, you're a pretty popular guy up there in New York now. You know, after that New York Times article?
Oh, yeah, you read it?
Everybody's reading it up there. You're famous.
I gotta go there now.
I think we might be able to do something with the hat when you come up.
Well, fantastic. Because they're not for sale, usually.
No, you have to know somebody.
Well, I know you now.
I guess you do.
So you stay in the Bronx, usually?
Yes, my engine company is Engine 52 in the Bronx.
Fantastic. You know, I was there right after that terrible disaster, that terrible thing. And still, every time there was a fireman's car, a fire department car, passing through the streets, everybody would stop and start to applaud all the men.
You know,
this was very moving, actually.
It was. The people were incredible. Every day as we got in the buses and we'd go down to Ground Zero along West Street, all the people would line up with signs supporting us, God bless you, we're praying for you. And that kind of support really helped us get through the difficult tasks that we had at hand.
Now tell us, how was your day, that fatidic morning? How was your day?
It was a beautiful morning, as we all know. September 11th, it was spectacular. Blue sky.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I remember going out to wash my car, and I fly planes, so I looked up at the sky and I said, wow, this would be a great day just to go out for a flight. The pilots would call it severe clear.
Yeah,
the visibility was
amazing.
extraordinary.
Yeah.
So I went out to wash my car, and I got a telephone call, and the person said, go in and turn on the TV. And I said, what happened? They said, just turn on the TV. I said, what channel? And they said, it doesn't matter. So I knew then something was seriously wrong. I went inside and I saw the plane hit the building, and I jumped into my car and then headed back towards the firehouse.
This was the first plane?
This was
the first crash, when you turned the TV on?
Well, it was the second plane, I believe.
It was the second
Yeah, because he must have seen the first.
Oh, yeah, sure.
crash.
So it was the second plane,
yeah.
of course.
And I'll never forget, I jumped in my car and I was racing down the highway back to my firehouse. That's the normal protocol. You would report back to your firehouse, and then you'd go down to wherever the emergency was. I remember listening to this news person on the radio, and she said, wait, the entire building is surrounded by smoke. And then there was a pause, and she said, oh my God, the smoke is clearing and the building is gone. That moment sent such a chill through my spine, just hearing that. I knew thousands of people would die as soon as I heard that.
And then, where do you live, actually? You live in the Bronx also?
Well, I used to live in the Bronx, but now I live upstate, about 30 minutes outside the city.
So, and then you got there, you were home, then you got there, and you started working there immediately. What was it? Of course, there was a lot of confusion over there, right?
Tremendous amount of confusion.
Yeah, and how did they manage to keep the chain of command in a moment like that?
Well, actually, there was no chain of command at that point in time. Too many of our upper echelon leaders died in the actual attack. When I got down there, it was like night. You walked in this beautiful, clear, sunny day. You walked into what looked like a fog, and the closer you got to Ground Zero, the darker it was. And people were running around covered with blood. At that point, there was no command stations yet. So the firefighters that were coming were told to just wait.
Everyone for himself?
Yeah, it turned out to be that, because we knew that there was people in there, and there was fellow firefighters in there. And so everybody just went in and started digging and hoping, and it was days and days went by, and we really didn't recover anybody.
Did you lose any friend or any close colleague on that day?
I lost a lot of close friends, but one fellow I was a lifeguard with in college. We went to college together. And when I was moving out of New York, he said, no, don't leave. Join the fire department. It's a great job. So he helped me train. And he talked me into joining the fire department 24 years ago. And we've been buddies ever since. We worked together. And unfortunately, he passed away at the Trade Center.
You know that I left New York 2 days before the attack. And so I was amazed. You just can't believe in a thing like that, because it was like an action movie scene, you know. And when I went back there, I went to see the place, and it was already just flattened down. And then they started to walk through it to see the whole thing. I didn't have the courage to go and
it's still quite unbelievable. When I was flying, leaving New York, just looking back, I keep waiting to see those buildings, that this has just all been a bad dream. But it hasn't, and they're gone, and so many good people are gone.
Would you mind if I show some of these moments here?
Not at all.
A clip of it? Ok, Willem, solta aí pra gente ver. This is something amazing, because there's this firefighter there, and then he sees the plane passing.
It's incredible footage.
Look at that. I think that footage is the most incredible one. This one and the first one, because by an amazing coincidence, there was this guy with a camera, and what was this other firefighter doing in that street there, you know?
Well, yeah, actually what he had in his hand was a gas detector, and they received an alarm to go out and check for a gas leak in the street. So they were out there checking with that gas detector, and they heard the plane overhead, and they just stopped and looked. And there was a team that was filming that firefighter there, because he's a brand new firefighter, and they were just following him around. So it was totally...
So he was a new firefighter.
That's right. It was totally coincidental.
That's amazing.
It is. And it's emblazoned in everyone's mind, because you can actually see the planes going into the building.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you see that smoke is...
Yeah,
it's a composite
like
of...
a fog, yeah.
Yeah, it's a composite of smoke
and
dust
chemicals and things like
chemical.
that.
I was working in the Trade Center for a long time, and I never saw a telephone or a computer. Everything was instantly vaporized, and that's what that gas was, that smoke.
And there are some people who managed to escape almost by miracle. People that were still inside the building when it started to collapse.
Yes, there was a few miracles. And the one fire team happened to be in a staircase between the second and third floor. And in that particular building, the nucleus of the building was the strongest part. So when it collapsed, it was still a miracle. But they were actually in one little flight of the stairs, and 5 of them survived. It was absolutely incredible. And the reason they survived is when they were walking down the stairs, they met this lady, and they slowed down to give her a hand. Had they not, they would have been outside and crushed by the building. So the lady is calling them the guardian angels, and the firefighters were calling the lady the guardian angel, because she slowed them down enough so they were in that little bit of staircase protected.
They saved their lives, and the old lady?
And they survived, and they were one of the few people that actually came out of the Trade Center. It's an absolute miracle.
We got a photo here. Mostra a foto.
Well, it's absolutely incredible. A lot of firefighters are getting tattoos, and people who would never get a tattoo.
Oh yeah, it's the towers there.
And they never want to forget it, and they never want to forget their lost brothers. One of the incredible things.
Look at that. And many of them are doing that. That tattoo.
Even people who would never get a tattoo are getting it.
Look at that. Tell me something, Daniel. Of course, this was the worst the worst disaster that you could think and see. But which one was the biggest in which you were really inside the building, or you were really involved in the actual in the actual fire.
You mean another fire from
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Nothing
Compared to
nothing
it.
even comes close. Even though I wasn't in the building, just to see 16 acres of devastation and 3,000 people dead, people from over 80 different nations around the world are represented there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. The fire burned for 4 months. It was the longest burning building fire in history. Just absolutely incredible, everything about it.
I've been told that the most shocking image that you still have in mind, it's a hand of a woman still with a ring, a wedding ring or something like that.
Yeah, as you can imagine, everything was pulverized, so all we were finding was small little body parts, you know, very, very tiny. And I came across this woman's hand sticking up out of the earth, and it looked pretty much intact. And it really wasn't attached to anything much else. But what struck me, what really gave me a chill when I saw this, was that it had a wedding ring on. And for some reason, that made it real to me. Like this woman had a husband and a family. She had a ceremony.
Children.
It symbolized a life. And I still picture that today.
Symbolized a whole family, actually.
Yeah.
And I think it must have happened, this I don't know, this trying to take the people out there, trying to lift stones that were impossible to lift. I mean, because at a time like that, everybody tried to help and tried to move things that just can't be moved because it's too heavy and because it's still very hot, because the temperature must have been very, very high. Still very, very high. Right?
It was an incredible sight because you had these huge steel girders, but yet there were hundreds of us on the pile just digging with buckets in our hands and little scoops. Wherever we could, we would reach underneath because there was no other way to get down there. And at the beginning, there was nothing we could do. We didn't have the cranes there, and it was a very hopeless feeling knowing that there were 3,000 people in that pile, and we couldn't get to them.
Well, you're retiring when?
Yes, actually, I'll be retiring on November 1st.
After how many years?
24 years. It goes fast.
But you're very young. You're still very young, right? But you're 38, 39?
Well, it's all relative. I was just told that the median age of a person here in Brazil is 45. So I'm an old man. I'm 53.
But you sure don't look it. And do you think anything could happen or will happen on next 11th, this year?
Well, I think something good happened.
Tomorrow, actually, yeah.
I think something good happened on September 11, 2001. People came from all over the world and all over the country, and they were working as a team at Ground Zero. And to me, that symbolized the indomitable human spirit, people coming together, helping, and people came from all nations. Brazil was sending up their love, and they had all sorts of ceremonies, and people from all over were helping out. And to me, I want that to be a legacy for me of 9/11. Of people working together.
But what I mean tomorrow is, do you think it's possible that they try another terrorist attempt or something like that just because of that date?
Well, the thing with terrorism is, I believe they like to strike when they're not expected. Yeah. And to me, that could be any day of the week.
Well, Daniel Daly, I want to congratulate you for your work, and I want to thank you very much for being here on the show. And next time I'm in New York, I'm going to look you up and look for that hat.
Good.
Thank you very
leave
much.
my card. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Daniel Daly.